may be built in glass houses, but I'm going to crack that friendship between Caroline Strawberry and Taleen. Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. I am Raphael and I am here to review Season 2, Episode 6 of The Real Backstabbing Housewives of Dubai. So we start the episode off right where we left off at Caroline Strawberry's luncheon in the middle of the desert. Brooks and Taleen, they're talking out their issues on how Taleen thinks that Brooks is an instigator, but Brooks is not trying to hear the truth, so she shuts the whole thing down. She throws away the whole friendship. She tells Taleen, look, I brought you onto the show for a storyline for myself. You served your purpose, so now I no longer need you, so now I'm disposing this friendship. And of course, we can't even go a whole episode, let alone like the first 5 minutes of the episode, without hearing one of Holier Than Thou Sarah's speeches, because she speaks up and she tells Brooks, you know, Brooks, I feel like if you just take that energy that you feel deep down inside about Taleen and you just put it together, I feel like there could be some type of resolution between you and Taleen. Taleen, right? Yeah, between you and Taleen. What do you say? And I'm like, you know, thank goodness for Caroline Strawberry, because she said what we were all probably thinking. She tells Sarah, who's sitting right next to her, and what are you, the Brooks Whisperer? I was shocked. I'm like, why are you pissed? And she's like, you know, just a year ago, you couldn't stand Brooks. And now all of a sudden, you know, you have your hand up her ass. And here goes Sarah. It's not necessarily that I have my hand up her ass. It's more so that I have my hand on her heart. And what is crazy is that Sarah 100% believes the bullshit that comes out of her mouth. Like, Sarah, do you really talk like this every single day, every single second? Like, we're not going to judge you if you told Taleen and Brooks, shut the fuck up, I'm trying to eat. Like, we're not going to judge you. It's okay to be a little toxic. You know, but she literally talks like somebody's mother who updates Facebook and WhatsApp every single morning at 8 o'clock. Like, good morning, everybody. Have a fantastic day. Stay blessed. Like, Sarah is the type that you could say good morning to, and she'll make it into a whole different thing like, oh, good morning, Sarah, have a good day. Wait a minute. Do you think if we dig a little deeper within ourselves, we could have a little bit more than just a good morning? Maybe even a fantastic morning, if you're willing. Like, enough, Sarah. Strawberry said it perfectly. Oh, shut up, Sarah. Talk like a regular person. You're pathetic. I'm like, what is going on, Strawberry? You know, she is upset that she's trying to, you know, mend things between Taleen and Brooks. And, you know, just like I said last week, this cast is very territorial of themselves. You know, because Lisa, she's upset with Ayan for trying to be besties with Strawberry. Brooks is upset with Taleen for trying to be besties with Strawberry. And now Strawberry is upset with Sarah for trying to be besties with Brooks. Like, everybody could be friends with each other on this cast. And Strawberry, that's very rich of you to say, oh, you know, just a year ago, you were against Brooks and you couldn't stand her. And now all of a sudden you two are friends, when you and Ayan are in the same boat. Brooks deflects the whole conversation and she tells Lisa and Sarah that she wants to have a private conversation and cause more chaos. She tells Lisa, well, we actually had a conversation about you and possibly something going on at home, but Sarah was the one to say something, and you know Sarah was shaking like, oh man, what inspirational quote can I say now to get me out of this situation? Live, laugh, love? No, Sarah, there's no inspirational quote saving you now, because now you're being put on the spot. And she's like, oh, no, I didn't mean it that way. I just said that, you know, maybe something was going on at home, but I didn't mean it that way, that something was going on between you and Raphael's husband, Richard. I never said any of that. And I'm like, yes, you did. Well, that's what you were alluding to, but she was just like, oh, no, that's not what I meant. Then what did you mean? Because, I mean, it's not anybody else's fault to interpret your words any type of way if that's exactly what it means. So eventually they sit back down to ask Ayan, because Ayan was there. Ayan is just like, well, I mean, that's what it sounded like, Sarah, that you were basically trying to allude that something was going on in their marriage. Taleen also said the same thing. And then I hear this squawking in the background, this, and I'm like, who is that talking? You know, is there a bird in the middle of the desert? And then it's the friend of the show, Saba. You know, she speaks up and she tells Lisa, she was like, Lisa, I just feel like, you know, you need to listen to what Sarah has to say, because Sarah, you know, she would never mean it like that. I don't think that that's what her words translate to. And I'm like, if I was Lisa, I would have told her. And what's your name again? Exactly. Irrelevant. Anyway, back to you, Sarah. Like, Saba, please. You've only been on the show for like 2 seconds and already you're inserting your 2 gold coins in a conversation that's not about you. Like, stay out of it. We then see Chanel, Ayan, and Lisa going out to get coffee together. But before that, did anybody see in the montage of what everybody else was doing? At Taleen's house, her husband, Raphael 2.0, he was going off to work and she asked him, oh, when are you going to be back? I'm probably going to go golfing after work, so probably around 6, maybe midnight. You know what? I'll just see you tomorrow. Love you. And then he walked out. You know, and I don't want to jump to conclusions, but I'm going to jump just a little bit. So Taleen, come over here. come over here for a second. I need to talk to you. New housewife. I get it that, you're still trying to get the hang of this, but I'm just gonna give you some advice, and that is to never trust a man in a suit with a briefcase, because there's nothing in that briefcase but a bunch of lies. So do with that what you will. But we see Lisa and Chanel, they sit down to get coffee, and Lisa, she is still triggered by Sarah's words of saying, oh, is there something going on at home? Because Lisa feels that there's a possibility that something could be going on at home because she's so busy with Mina Rowe, being beautiful, being a bad bitch, doing photo shoots that are flawless. She just doesn't have time to even sleep with Rich, her own husband. And it's unfortunate that she feels this way, because I feel like men, they could go off to work and be busy the entire day, and they'll never think about, oh, am I giving my wife enough time? Is she possibly gonna leave me? Like, they don't have to live with that fear. But I do love that her mom installed in her head, look, no matter how close or how good you and Richard are, you still need to have your own financial dependency, because at any moment he could walk out of your life like Monica, and now you're screwed. Even though she's not gonna be screwed because she has her own money, but I love that because that made her, build her own empire. And I relate to Lisa because that's all I witnessed growing up, seeing women have no power, no say-so, no control in their relationship, simply because their man had all the money between both of them and would dangle it in front of them like, oh, well, where are you gonna go without me? I have all the money. So for any of you out there who are dating somebody, married to somebody who, you're depending on them financially, I'm gonna give you some advice. Because I would still want you to be independent. What you're gonna do is, start texting some of his friends. Or their friends, their cousins, or maybe a brother, try to keep it in the family. And, just in case things don't work out between you and your partner, then you have another person lined up, ready financially, But just make sure that you have your own thing. Then we head over to Caroline Strawberry's house, and it feels like every episode just further proves on why her and Sergio should not be together, because they're there sitting down at the table with his mom and his sister and her boyfriend. And, she basically looks for any excuse to just leave the table. She's just like, I need to go clip my toenails. I need to go fluff my pillow upstairs. I need to go bird watching. I think I'm gonna go fishing. Like, she looks for any excuse just to leave them. And then in the confessional, she's like, well, you know what? I'm glad that, he's having a play date today. Like, the fact that she calls this a play day, like, obviously, again, like I've been saying, she does not take her husband serious whatsoever. And that's just so sad, because Sergio, I know everybody clowns him, including me, that he's so clingy, he's so clingy, he's so clingy. But realistically, isn't that what we all want? I know people who have boyfriends who would text them every single morning like, hey, baby, how are you? I can't wait to see you. And he would text back saying, who's this? So please, save it with the jokes. We all want someone like Sergio, right? Or at least I do. And then when they started talking Spanish, once Strawberry left the table, I'm like, wow, are we watching The Real Housewives of Puerto Rico? Because he starts talking to them in Spanish, and, my panties were soaked. And he was just like, mom, estoy un poquito nervioso porque no sé con Carolina si quiere tener un bebé. Fuimos al doctor y me dijeron que tenemos un año, pero no sabemos porque ella ya va a tener 50 y yo no sé, yo sí quiero este bebé. And the mom is just not playing around, and she tells him, it's not gonna happen. You're a dreamer. You dream a lot in your sleep. And she was probably being a little bit too harsh, but I feel like Sergio was just not going to get it any other way. She basically told him, yo con Carolina, yo no la veo con un bebé. No la veo hoy, mañana, la próxima semana, yo nunca la veo con un bebé. She never sees Caroline with any type of child in the future, not today, not tomorrow, not anytime in this lifetime. And I have to agree with the mom. And Sergio, he starts getting emotional. Of course, he gets all teary-eyed. I'm like, oh, he's so adorable. Come over here. He was just like, pero mamá, yo quiero un bebé, like, ahorita, like, eso es lo que es, eso así, a mí sí me importa eso, yo quiero un bebé con Carolina, but I don't know, I just don't see a baby between them. But again, I don't see him ever leaving her either if he doesn't get that from her. So Caroline Brooks, her son Adam, and her mother, they go out to the glass house to get something to drink and to talk about Adam's upcoming birthday party. Caroline Brooks, she's trying to talk to him, but he just seems very distant, very standoffish, like, I'm not really excited, like, okay, yeah, it's happening, okay, whatever. And he's also not making eye contact, which is very telling. And eventually, as they continue talking about how he's growing up with no siblings, he's just like, well, you know what, that's just never gonna change. You're never gonna have any other kids. And she's like, well, what if it does change? What if your dad has kids with somebody else? And he's just like, oh no, well, me and my dad, we already discussed that. And she's like, wait a minute, you already had those type of conversations with him? What about me? And he's just like, It's really hard to talk to you because you're never around. You're always coming home from work around 10 o'clock at night, at late at night at that. So there's never any time to really talk. And this further proves exactly what I said about the relationship last week or the week before that. Very similar to how Caroline Strawberry thinks. Caroline Strawberry thinks that just because she works, and provides this lavish lifestyle for her children, that's being a mother or that's showing love when there's so much more than that. And I'm pretty sure that Brooks has a lot of money where she could hire somebody to run the glass house for her so she won't be there 24/7 stressing herself out. Because what you don't want, Brooks, is to put your business, the glass house, on a pedestal. Next thing you know, time flies by, your son is aging, he's 15, 16, 18, 21. All this time flew by and you were so constantly, caught up with work that the relationship that you could have had with him is just not there. And you don't want him to hold some type of resentment because, you may think that kids don't hold on to things, but no, they do. They do, so hopefully things between them change for the better moving forward. We see holier than thou Sarah at her house, and I did not realize her house was so huge. It's like this big ass cinder block just sitting in the middle of the ground. So clearly, her talking like a robot paid off for her, right? So her son Maktoum, he's also there. He's opening up the door for her situationship / boyfriend / whatever you want to call it. The beautiful man Akeem, he comes in. Maktoum starts twerking. Honestly, I probably would have done the same thing if I saw him walk through my door. But he sits down with Sarah, and as beautiful as both of them are together, it's not gonna work between them because they're on two different pages. Sarah is telling him, I'm used to dating losers who I have to provide for, and in my culture, it's the other way around. I need a man who's the sole provider that provides for everything financially and not just me all the time. And his way of thinking is, okay, if I have that responsibility, does that mean I have a little bit more power, a little bit more say in our relationship? Alert, alert, alert. Sarah, just block his number. Just block him now while you're at it. Like, don't even waste your time. Like, yeah, he's beautiful, but just close your eyes and then block him. What do you mean more power? She even reassures him, no, it's not about power. It's not about any of that. Nobody has control in this relationship. It's just that's the way it is in my culture. But I don't see him bending to that, Sarah. So yeah, I don't know. They're on two different pages, and it's very unfortunate because Maktoum is very attached to him, and they're not even exclusive yet. And from what we saw in the preview to the rest of the season, it seems that her and Akeem, they're not a thing anymore in the future. So he was just like, okay, so I'm going to go back to Germany. Are we going to be exclusive, just seeing each other one-on-one? Because then I could take you serious. And Sarah is much better than me because over my dead fucking body. She agrees to it, and she was just like, yeah, no, we're exclusive. See, if I was Sarah, I would have lied to him. I would have been like, yeah, you could be in Germany, but my Uzi is gonna be here in Dubai having fun. We see Caroline Strawberry and her daughter Yasmin going out to dinner, and this whole conversation between them was very interesting because Yasmin, she starts crying to her, telling her, I feel like I'm competing for your love, for your attention, for your affection with your own husband, Sergio, and it should not be like that because I'm your daughter. And in a way, yeah, it is true because Sergio, you could just tell that it bothers him when Caroline Strawberry's spotlight is not on him. Like if it's on anybody else, he's bothered and he just does not leave her alone. We saw it all the way from episode 1, season 1. He's constantly up her ass. When she goes to film with the Housewives, who's there? Sergio with the getaway mobile, just waiting for her to come out. She goes to take a shit. Who's there giving her the toilet paper? Sergio. If she goes into the bathroom to go brush her teeth, who's there with the toothpaste in hand? Sergio. Like he needs to go get a hobby. That's what he needs to do. He needs to go hang out with the other friends or other husbands or do something like, go play the guitar, go make some cookies, go watch some TikTok, go make some TikToks, go listen to some music, go organize your closet. Just do something else besides Caroline Strawberry. I promise you she's still going to be your wife at the end of the day. Allegedly. Because I'm not sure. And Yasmin, she's just crying. And it does not help that Strawberry, she has this very cold demeanor. I believe she said it in season 1, that's just who she is. She's like that with her parents, with Sergio, her kids, with everybody. But I don't know, it's just very stone cold because Yasmin's just crying her eyes out and Strawberry's just like, well, I'm going to try to be a better mother to you, okay? Like, can you put a little bit more emotion or at least fake it a little bit? But I don't know. I'm not sure. And then on top of that, Sergio wants to bring in a baby into this already dysfunctional family when nobody takes you serious. Like, then we head over to Taleen's house and she's there with her family. She's going through it because her family dog of many, many years just passed away. But she still finds time to be shady towards Brooks. She tells Raphael 2.0, all the ladies texted me their condolences except Brooks. And that's when I see on Twitter, Caroline Brooks, she actually posted screenshots of her message to not necessarily Taleen, but to Taleen's sister, who was also in the scene. And she texted her, oh, I'm sorry for your loss. So what is the truth? Taleen, because your sister's right there. You would have thought that she would have told you, like, hey, Caroline texted me at least, but now we're just pretending that Caroline didn't say anything at all? I don't know, Taleen, you're looking questionable. You already started looking questionable last episode, but now this episode as well? Like, yeah, Brooks, she's an instigator, and she does twist words into her own narrative, but you're not squeaky clean either, so... yikes. But then we head over to Adam, which is Caroline Brooks' son, his 10th birthday party on a beach. I think it was a beach. It was really, really nice. So many balloons. It was really cool. Then we see her ex-husband, Zoran. He shows up and the whole vibe changes because Brooks, she's like, look, Adam, look. Oh, hey. Like, she despises that man. And then they asked her in the confessional, so did he pay for anything? And she was just like, pay for anything? No, he didn't pay for anything. This is all me. And it's crazy because I'm pretty sure that he has to give her something, right? Like, financially, like, he doesn't pay for nothing. Like, I would have thought at least, like, not even just because of Caroline Brooks, but because of himself as a father, you would think like, okay, I'm still going to chip in anyway. This is still my son, but nothing? Like, oof, Brooks, I see where the animosity for him is coming from. But eventually we see Sarah, holier than thou Sarah. She brings Maktoum, but not the beautiful man. So she shows up, and then we see Lisa Milan and her 3 kids, and I believe Chanel Ayan, she was picking up her mom at the airport. So they're hanging out, they're having a good time, everything is good. Adam is enjoying his time. Meanwhile, back at Taleen's house, we see Caroline Strawberry. She comes over, and I'm like, oh, so this friendship is really, it's kicking up a notch. I'm like, okay. And then we see that they went out one night and they were both drunk. Caroline Strawberry, she came over to Taleen's house drunk. They walked in. She walked into the bedroom where Raphael 2.0 was laying down. And Caroline Strawberry started crawling on top of him on the bed and she hugged him. And this doesn't make it better because Brooks was just tweeting like a couple of weeks ago or 2 weeks ago saying, oh, you really don't want me to say, Taleen, who you and your husband are sleeping around with. So... it doesn't help the allegations, allegedly, but that is crazy. And I know that Sergio, the second that he saw this clip on this episode last night, he probably grabbed all his teddy bears, he went upstairs to his room, and he probably cried himself into his pillow. Like, I can just tell, like, so crazy. Like, you're literally laying on top of another man like that. Like, okay, but, that's that. Eventually, back at the beach party, we see Sarah and Brooks. They're talking about their newfound friendship, and Brooks is basically trying to warn everybody that this friendship between them is not gonna last. Like, she's gonna burn Taleen, that Strawberry is gonna burn Taleen one way or another, and I do feel it that way too. I feel like Taleen, you're becoming you're too trusting of Strawberry, and Strawberry could just dispose of you like nothing, and you're gonna end up on a little island. The person who brought you onto the show, she's not gonna have your back, so who's gonna have your back? Like, meanwhile, again, it doesn't make it any better because we head back over to Taleen's house and her and Strawberry, they're just laughing it off. They're not going to Brooks's party, blah, blah, blah. And then Strawberry is just like, oh, well, Brooks, she's like an alcoholic anyway. She's a drunk. And then Taleen starts laughing along with her. And I'm like, wow, like, I get it that Brooks is not squeaky clean. She's not the best person either. But damn, Taleen, like, your friend of 10 years, just like that, you switch on her and you start talking shit about her and calling her a drunk? I feel like the whole season is going to end with Taleen looking the worst. But that's just, I don't know. That's just, that's the vibe that I get, especially with the super trailer that we saw for the rest of the season. Her husband screaming at Caroline Brooks and Lisa. All I'm going to say is that I knew he was that kind of man from the very first time we were introduced to him on his episode. So we'll leave it there, but let me know what you all thought about this whole entire episode. What do you think about Taleen, Strawberry, Brooks? Who do you think is right? Who do you think is wrong? Let me know down in the comments. Bye, everybody. Mwah.